This video is for assignment 5.2, which is function notation. In this assignment, we're just trying to see how we use function notation to solve problems. For example, here we have x, and it's giving us a whole list of x's here. And what it wants us to do is say, okay, what happens if we replace x with that? So if I take this and put it right here for x, what would my answer be? Now, a thing to remember is this part right here is only a label. It's not a math problem. So you don't, more than just the name, you don't ever have to look at that. Okay? So we're saying, all right, in the g function, I'm replacing x with -5. So we replace x with -5. And we would get 5 times -5 minus 2. What's 5 times -5? That would be -25 minus 2. And -25 minus 2 is -27. And we do the same thing for the next one. Take -1. Put it right there. We have 5 times -1 minus 2. And always replace the x or whatever variable using parentheses. You always want to use parentheses. 5 times -1 is -5. -5 minus 2 is -7. So here we would just put -7. Next one, a 1. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. Now we're going to put a 2 in. 5 times x, well x is 2 in this case, so 5 times 2 is 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 2 is 18. So there's our function for that one. Number 2. In number 2, it's very much the same thing. We have our x here, and that x, we take that number and replace it right in for x. Okay, so in this case, we would have 2, and then we have x. What is x? X is -4 minus 1. We just took that -4 and put it right in for x. 2 times -4 is -8. -8 minus 1 is -9. Okay, now if we put a -1 in there, we have 2 times -1 minus 1. 2 times -1 is -2 minus 1. That would be -3. And if we put a 2 in there, okay, so again, we're just taking whatever x is and plugging it in for x. So we have 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. And here we have a 4. 2 times 4, okay, 2 times x. X is 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. And 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. This one, we've got two different functions. We have an f function and a g function. Both functions, we're replacing the x's right here. Okay, in both cases, we're replacing x. So what are we replacing x with? Well, with the f function, we're replacing x with -3. So we take that and put it right here. And we rewrite the problem. 2 times -3 to the third power plus 6. Now notice I just put the negative 3 in parentheses around where the x was, and that's all that's included. So this exponent applies only to the parentheses. So it's negative 3 times negative 3, that's 9. One more time, because there's a 3 there. 9 times negative 3 is negative 27 plus 6. 2 times negative 27, well 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so negative 54 plus 6. Negative 54 plus 6 is negative, what would that be, 48. So negative 48. Now in the next one, it wants me to look at the g function and replace the x with a 5. So in the g function, I'm replacing the x with a 5. So I have, negative 5, and replace the x with a 5 plus 4. Negative 5 times 5 is negative 25. Negative 25 plus 4 is negative 21. Okay, same thing here. In the f function, replace x with a negative 3. So we're going to take the x and replace it with negative 3. So that gives me negative 2 parentheses where the x is. And what's the x? The x is negative 3. And then I just rewrite continue writing the rest of the problem. So negative 3 to the third power we found in the last problem was negative 27. And we got that by negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9. 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. So negative 2 times negative 27 would be a positive 54. And 54 minus 3 is 51. Now for the g function, in the g function, we're replacing x with 2. So I'm going to put it right there. So negative 2x, what was x? Is 2 minus 3. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. Number 5 is a story problem. Amanda is driving on a highway. She uses 1 gallon of gas for every 20 miles she drives. The distance, d in miles, she travels on g gallons is given here. So we have the function. How far does she drive if she uses 5 gallons of gas? Well, if we're using g for gallons of gas, then we're going to put a 5 right there. 20 times 5 is 100. And so that's the answer there. So just plug in, find out what G stands for. G is gallons of gas, and then just plug that in for gallons of gas. And number 6, same type of problem. We have our equation here. What does B stand for? B are books. Number of books, right? Okay. So if she sells 28 books, well, B is the number of books, so we'll put it right there. 51 plus 28. Eight plus 1 is 9. 5 plus 2 is 7. She would make $79. So that's how you do 5.2. I hope it helps.